What's up, guys? So today I decided that I would share some of my childhood stories with you guys because I feel like it should be part of everybody's life to release their embarrassing childhood stories that happened to them in elementary school, middle school, or just all growing up. You can't just keep them inside, you feel? Is it going to be embarrassing? Yes. Am I probably going to regret this? Maybe. Now, these stories, they're gonna be really embarrassing for me. Please do not hold these against me. Don't come up to me and be like,
"Oh, hey, I heard that story of what you did."
No, don't do that. Okay, so first story is when I was in the first grade. In the first grade, we're having our story time. That time of the day, when you just got back from recess and lunch. There's just that segment of time when the teacher's just reads to you. So, me being me, I have to pee. I raise my hand. I'm like, hey, can I go pee? Can I use the restroom? And she's like, sure. So I go into the restroom and there is a girl in there. But she was like,
hey, you should stand on the toilet.
I was like, hey, sure, sounds like fun. I was desperate for friends back in the day. I figured, stand on the toilet, make a friend. I closed the stall door and I stood on the toilet. We were just living our life. We were just looking over the stall. But then another girl came in and she was just staring at us. Like that one tattletale person who just gives you the death stare. And we were just like, what? And so I just got down real quick because I was not trying to get in trouble. Straight track record, I was set. So I got down from that toilet and I was just staying in there. And then about 10 seconds later, I hear a teacher's voice and she's like,
Tawny, I know you're in there.
The embarrassment. I open up the door and she's just staring at me. And then that week in my Thursday folder, I had a little U mark. I don't know what. I had a bad mark in my Thursday folder. I never felt so ashamed in my life. That story wasn't as embarrassing as the one I'm about to tell. So, I was in 5th grade. Valentine's Day was just coming up. Actually, it was the day of Valentine's Day. So, in elementary school when you have to buy cards for your whole class or candy for your whole class or whatever. I bought candy for my whole class, but I also bought an extra card for a special boy in the class beside me. I wrote him a little note. I taped a piece, a Hershey kiss, onto the note. I was like, hey, I think you're really cute, please date me, I'm desperate, we're both 5th graders. And on Valentine's Day, I snuck into the classroom beside us. It was Miss Self's class, and I put the note on his desk, and I left. In PE, that day, I heard, the boys talking about it, and they were like,
yeah, I recognize that handwriting. I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Let me mind you, I'm 5th grade. I was freaking out. I did not want anybody to know that I liked this boy. I was trying not to look. I was trying to stare. I just walked past them. I don't know how I found out exactly they knew it was me, but I think somebody told me. They were like,
hey, we know you put that note on his desk.
The boy that I liked still goes to my school to this day, and we still sometimes talk. I'm praying to God that he does not remember that, because that is just really embarrassing. I think about it probably 4 times a week because my embarrassment still stands to this day. When I was in the 2nd grade, I had a friend. Surprisingly, her name was Kylie. She lived in my neighborhood. She lived right down the street from me, and we were in the same class. We both went to Westfield. We were living our lives, man. I don't know how we got into a fight, but we did. And so we were at our neighborhood basketball court, and we got into a fight. And it got almost into a full-out brawl. It was just a little street fight that you see on World Star or whatever. It almost got to that point. So we were coming at each other. My hands were up, I was ready to fight. But our brothers were holding us back, and we were just no, let me at her. We were about to kill each other practically. And we're about to go off. This fight lasted probably 2 weeks. So the next day in class, it was indoor recess because it was raining or something. Everybody, not everybody, but there's quite a few people surrounding around us because we were fighting out loud. And so I was just no, blah, 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 said a little snarky comeback. And she was like,
why don't you just move to Texas where you belong?
And when I tell you that hit me right here, that hit me right here. I got the little hall pass, I set it on my desk, and I walked to the bathroom, and I started crying. I was a sensitive little hoe in elementary school. I cried at everything. So I was just crying in the bathroom. And then Kylie walks in like a few minutes later, and she was just like,
"Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean what I said."
first of all, what she said didn't even make sense. I never lived in Texas at all. I lived in Oklahoma my whole entire life, so I had no clue why she said move back to Texas. But it really hurt me. I don't know why. So she was just like,
"Will you forgive me?"
and I was just like, sure, yeah. And then we became friends again. I don't know what grade I was in. 6-ish, 7-ish grade-ish. It was in the summer though. My cousin was over and we were playing in the backyard. And we were just like running around. And my dad was fixing our fence. So we had a whole bunch of like big bags. You know, like those big bags of cement. Like the little like chalky like cement that you just add water to. And one of them was open. My little sister.
She was like, "Hey, you should like take some of that cement and like do a smack cam bit to Pinky Trace."
My older brother, and I was like, no, you have to do it first, because I was not trying to get myself in trouble. I was just gonna mind my own business. And she's like,
"Sure, I'll do it."
so she took a handful of it and she just like disappeared. I didn't know where she went, but I was just like, okay. And so we just kept on playing. And then like a few minutes later she came back and she was like, I did it. And there's like chalk all over her hand and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you really did it. Like that's crazy. I would not be bold enough to just go up and throw a bunch of chalk into my brother's face. And so she's like, you said I had to do it first, so now you have to do it. And so I was just like, okay, like a promise is a promise. So I took a nice handful of that cement, ran up to my brother, and I threw it in his face. And I said,
"Smack cam."
he got so mad. You could see the fury in his eyes. He was so angry. And I was just like, what? I was just like, no, but like Rabbit did it. And he started like chasing after me. I just ran inside the house. I just like hid in my room. And like 5 minutes later, my dad came in and he was like,
"You're grounded. You're not going to the mall later."
I was just bawling my eyes out. And I was like, but like, what about Rabbit? She did it. Turns out she never even threw cement in his face. And I was the only one who did it. And I was grounded for that day. Moral of the story, never trust your siblings. They are fake people. My cousins and I, we're spending the night at Chloe's house. We're just like chilling, you know. I was probably like 4 or 5. And we always had an air mattress that we would blow up and we'd put it in her living room and we would sleep on that and like watch movies and stuff. I was at her house, we blew up the air mattress and stuff and we fell asleep. Well, the next day, I woke up all wet. Like my pants were wet. Being confused and dumb and a strangely odd 5-year-old, I just got up and said,
"Somebody peed on me."
sis, you peed on yourself. And nobody peed on me, I peed on myself. It was around Christmas time. It was in the morning, I remember that. My brothers were like in the living room playing video games and everybody else was just doing their own thing. I saw some candy on the counter. It was morning, so we kind of have this rule like no eating candy in the morning, like eat your lunch first and then you can have candy. I was really in the mood for some jelly beans. Like I was not gonna wait till I had my lunch. Like that's ludicrous. I took some jelly beans, I just like put them in my mouth. But apparently one of my like 20 million siblings saw me and they were like,
"Hey, Tweety ate a jelly bean."
I was just like, knowing what my dad would like, I would probably get grounded if he found out. So I took that jelly bean and I just like threw it. And I was like, no, like I didn't eat anything. I didn't break the rules. Like I'm not a rule breaker. And he would just like go to your room. And so I was like, okay, like they're never gonna find my evidence. I threw it far away into a corner and they're never gonna find the chewed up jelly beans. And so I was just waiting in my room. And so he came in, he was like, so you say we didn't eat any candy? Like, are you sure about that? Like he was asking a whole bunch of random questions. So I was like, no, I didn't eat any jelly beans. I didn't eat any candy. Like, that's not me. And so he was like, then what is this? Out of his pocket, he pulled a wad of chewed up jelly beans. And he was like, is this yours? I was caught in a lie, so I was just like, yeah, that's mine. And so I got whooped for it. When I was in kindergarten, I think it was like towards the end of the school year because my teacher is like,
"Okay, we're gonna take like pictures and I'm gonna take a picture with each of you guys. It's gonna be like a chill, fun day."
And so I was just like, sweet, yeah, school. And so I don't know what exactly we were doing, but I just remember like one by one she'd be like,
"Okay, Susie, you're next for your picture. Tiny Tim, you're next."
My friend, which I still know to this day, like all these people from like my elementary school, like I still know them to this day. Like they still go to Santa Fe and it's kind of weird because I see them all the time. So this girl, she was like,
hey, like, there's like a bowl of Hershey Kisses on her desk. Like, I dare you to steal one.
And let me tell you, like, I was desperate, okay? Like, I'm desperate in every single one of these stories. So I was just like, okay, if you'll be my friend in return. So I take a Hershey Kiss off her desk. I try to be all sneaky with it. I snatch it real quick. I'm just like, haha, like I got one. And I just like eat it. And right in the middle of chewing, the teacher looks at me. She's like,
Okay, Tawny, it's you been for a picture.
and I felt like I was just like caught up. I was just like, no, like my cheeks are full of chocolate. Even though it was just one Hershey Kiss. But I made it so difficult. I was like, okay, let's take our picture. And so I got over there and she was like,
Okay, smile.
me with my Hershey Kiss in my mouth, I smiled exactly like this. Yes, with the arm and everything. Why was I doing this? I don't know. It was embarrassing. My family still looks at that picture like now. Like I'm pretty sure last week they saw it and they started laughing at me. They're like, why do you put your arm like this? I don't know. It was in the summer. I was probably like around 11, 12-ish. I was at the lake with my family and there's like this barn that has like, basketball goals in it. And so we all went in there. It was like late at night. We were just playing basketball. All of a sudden the big kids wanted to play like by themselves. Like, my older brothers and sisters and like the older cousins and stuff. Trace, yes, Trace. You guys all think he's an angel. He's not. He was just like,
Yeah, little kids, you have to go. Bye.
and I was just like, no, like he can't tell me what to do. I was so disobedient. Long story short, I don't know how it like kind of climaxed up to this, but I scratched his face. Like he had scratches. Like I was scratching him and clawing at him. And everyone was just like, stop, get off of him. I was just embarrassed, so I walked out of there. Then my aunt came up to me, my great aunt. I swear to you, this was like a Disney little, you know those little Disney things where they're like, yo, you have to just support him and stuff like that. Well, that happened. Basically, my great aunt, she was like, he's your brother. You have to love him no matter what the circumstances. And you have to love him no matter this and no matter that. And I was just like, great pep talk. And then I went and ate a pickle. This is gonna be my last story. I'm pretty sure like everybody I'm close to has heard this story, but I really wanted to go out with the bang. You feel? So this was like kind of recently. It was in 8th grade during basketball season, and we're taking our little away game trip down to Stillwater. It was fun, you know. We got fuzzies, we got some tacos, we had some good laughs. It was just fun. The game was fun too, you know. We were like winning, and you know I was like crossing people up or whatever. Basically, there was like 5 seconds left of the game, and we were down by 2 points. So my coach is like,
Play man-on-man defense. Like, you guys have to get up, try to intercept the ball.
so I was guarding the point guard, and she tried to pass it, and I intercepted it. So I was dribbling it, I intercepted it, I was power dribbling down the court. All I have to do is make this layup, and then we go into overtime. There's like 2 seconds left by this point. So I was dribbling, took my 2 steps, went up for the layup, and I missed it. I missed my god dang layup. I was super duper sad, and everybody was just like,
What happened? Like, why is she crying?
but they didn't understand, like, this meant something to me. Like, this game, it meant something to me. Everybody was just like, I was just there for, like, the fun, just a middle school basketball game. But for me, it, like, meant something. We lost because of me. That's what I was feeling. There was, like, tears running down my face. I just, like, went up to the top of the bleachers, and I was just crying the whole time. And the coach came up there, and she's like, it's not your fault. And I was like, yes, it is. It is. And then my teammates apparently thought that one of the girls on the other team like hit me, which wasn't the case, obviously. It still makes me irritated to this day because if I had just made that layup, things would have been different. Boys from the team were coming up to me and they're like,
Are you okay?
I was just like, no. You know, I had to put up that front and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. But I wasn't. I was messed up for like the next couple of days. It really broke my heart. That's it, because I'm tired of like bringing up my past occurrences because most of them scarred me. So that's the end of this video. If you laughed, that's great. I'm hoping I at least made you guys smile. Picture young Tawny doing all this random crazy stuff. I was a weird child. That's it for this video, and peace out, homeboys. Bye.